NERDSoul.
DNF Duel has dropped the grand balance patch. And, a lot of people were worried because they were saying, hey, if everyone's getting buffed, what does that look like? And
Ah,
me personally, I was like, well, that looks like it's a whole bunch of fun
oh
because
yeah,
everybody got good stuff. Everybody got gifts for Christmas. Like, what's the deal?
everybody, the whole roster.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
But
everybody got a
Hitman,
little
but
something,
Hitman,
something.
but to be honest, Hitman got an ugly sweater. But he got a
Oh,
present, but it was an ugly sweater.
oh man.
Mm,
So anyway, to the man that knows the most about DNF Duel in the room this evening, how are you feeling about the Grand Balance pack?
I love the grand balance patch for the rest of the roster. I didn't necessarily want Hitman to get buffed because I feel like Hitman has been very controversial and very divisive with this game. Come on, he's the most controversial character, even though it should have been Swiftmaster. For some reason, Hitman is the most controversial. Yet Swiftmaster sat at the top before they nerfed him, and then now that they've buffed everybody, Swiftmaster's climbing back up as far as the top tier. But I say this: before they nerfed everybody, when DNF Duel was in its first state, I love the fact that Swiftmaster was OP. I didn't use him. I like fighting against Swiftmaster because that level of difficulty to win and get the dub lets me know, okay, I'm really doing something. I really know what I'm doing. I really know how to play. So yeah, I'm gonna get beat down and cornered and juggled like crazy with Swiftmaster because I don't know the matchup. So I'm gonna take
True.
those L's and take those L's and take those L's until I learn the matchup. And I finally start to learn the matchup when I can punch, when I can interrupt. And a lot of times before the nerf, Swiftmaster has you overwhelmed because he replenishes MP so quick. But you can still get out of it. It was more difficult, but I could still win. And I got to a point where offense was my best defense. Instead of getting myself in a block state, I would go on the attack when it comes to Swiftmaster because I don't fight everybody the same. Like I don't have a people say I'm a defensive fighter. I'm an attacker. Like me, I'm a person who fights who I fight. I'm fighting you. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do to
Yeah.
fight you. Right. So I don't have a fighting style or I'm not defensive. I'm not offensive. I'm not reactive. I am whatever I need to be to fight the person I'm fighting. So there is no I am just an open like fun, just like, okay, what's gonna happen right now? Round one fight. What is this person doing? I'm gonna respond and react to whatever you're doing. That's how I fight. I'm gonna fight however you fight. So with that said, I think that buffing everybody in this grand balance patch is perfect. I love it. I love every minute of it. I like the fact that Crusader has an infinite combo now. He had one before, but they nerfed it. Now he has none. Not, but everybody except Hitman has an infinite combo now. The thing with Hitman is he just has a TOD. TOD meaning if he has 200 meter in the right situation, he can
Mm.
just he needs 200 meter, and all he needs is 200 meters. That's it. If Hitman has 200 full bar meter and he's red, and he catches you with a specific attack, and he can TOD you. That's not an infinite combo because if you drop it, you don't get to continue. Whereas everybody across the board has an infinite combo starting from 100 MP where they can build their MP up to 200 and keep going. Berserker has this, but now the whole roster has it now. So as of the
Mm.
buffs, I can't pull them off myself, but since the Grand Balance Pack, I've fought the entire roster, even including Hitman. I don't like mirror matches, but I've took a few Hitman matches just to see what guys are doing with Hitman because I figured out my own little way to play with him with his new little move. But I'm trying to see does he have an infinite is it something I'm not seeing because I went to practice mode and labbed Hitman for like crazy. I just didn't do no footage. I just labbed him. I wanted to see, okay, what is it that Hitman can do now? What's different? So I did all of his little new stuff, and I tried to do an infinite combo the best way I could. I tried every route I could think of, and it's like it always stops and drops and resets. Whereas the rest of the roster can keep juggling you, and you don't drop, and they can go all the way into awakening and kill you. So I like the fact that everybody has infinite. Because for me, because I'm just so confident in myself, now I feel like everybody's on Hitman's level now. So now when I beat people, there's no excuse.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So for me, I'm not afraid of the buffs. Yes, it is crazy. The game is not the same DNF Duel. This is a different. It's DNF Duel 2.0, right? It's the same game, but some added mechanics where, and the defensive mechanics is what they gave us. All DNF Duel really needed was a better defensive mechanic and a way to escape infinite combos. I put this tweet out, and it's like I put a spell out into the FCC, and here we are. I said something to the effect a while back of somebody tweeted and said, "What is your pet peeve about fighting games, or what is it that you won't tolerate?" What was the tweet? Something how did they word it? Like something in fighting games
Ah,
that you like
trying to
if you was
remember.
making a fighting game, what would you
Like, yeah, like
what's
is it what was a non-negotiable? I'm trying to remember how they.
non-negotiable? Yeah, what's non-negotiable? And I said something to the effect of a way to get rid of infinite combos. Like either you can't do them or there's a way to escape them. Whatever it looks like. And that was a random
Mhm.
tweet. Here it is. After the grand balance patch, they have buffed the dodge roll and they've buffed the alpha counter to where if you find yourself in an infinite combo, it's not that they drop it. It's just that when you fall on the ground, when you get up, you can dodge roll and your dodge roll recovery is better and they can't reset anymore. So it's hard to explain. It's just that now fighting against a
There
lot of
is at
characters,
least a way out.
there's a way out as long as you're skilled enough to do it. Like you gotta tell yourself that you can do it, first of all. Like in the heat of that moment, you gotta tell yourself, okay, I actually can do this or I can do that. Where at one point I would just block and wait for these guys to finish, you know, wailing on me. I can literally just at any moment as they're attacking, just dodge roll out of their attack and they'll whiff the other attack. The only thing is it now autocorrects. So if you switch sides with them, depending on the animation that's happening, they'll autocorrect and they'll kind of like it's like a tracking move and they'll track you even though you switch sides with your dodge roll, depending on which attack they use. So the fun about it. The new Grand Balance is fighting everybody and seeing the things that you can dodge roll out of and the things you can't. Because we're at one point before the Grand Balance patch, if you try to wake up dodge roll, they could get you, right? It's
Yeah,
hard to explain.
there'd be
Now
like a
you
frame or
can
something where they could trap you.
yeah, there's a frame where they can just trap you. You're trapped. Once you're in the corner in DNF Duel, back in the day, DNF Duel, you're trapped in the corner, you're trapped in the corner. There's no getting out. Even if you dodge roll, if they time your dodge roll right, you're back in the corner. So it's like now you can double dodge roll, right? You can dodge roll, and it's like they can miss your timing in dodge rolling. Like you can dodge roll and block, dodge roll and attack, dodge roll and dodge roll again. It's like you can make them chase you with the dodge roll now. So it's about timing because the dodge roll does have some form of vulnerability. It's just that the recovery time on it is just a split second quicker, where you can recover faster than your opponent can. It's just that you got to know that you're recovering. That's the trick. It, Even though you can go to the frame data and look at the frame data, you still don't really know. Like the heat of the battle is so different, and a lot of characters' attacks are quicker now. But there's still a split second of window of time where you, the dodge roller, have recovered faster than the attacker, and you can get out of stuff now. Like it's just what it is. Now, guys are still skilled. Once they hit confirm, they can still TOD you and do your Dolo Infinite. I'm cool with that. But at least I have a way to escape. So if I fail in my escape, well, then that's just my failure, right? Whereas before the patch, it's like, oh, this is irritating. I don't like this. I hate this. I hate fighting this character. I hate fighting that character. You know, and Hitman struggles with zoner characters. Now, that I can double dodge roll, I still kind of get locked down a little bit, but I can kind of maneuver myself out of shaky situations now, as you can see right there on the screen. I can maneuver out of situations now better with the Grand Balance patch than beforehand. I love it. I
Hmm.
have no gripes about it. Um, Characters that didn't have infinites before now have infinites. Everybody pretty much except Hitman until maybe he does and I just haven't figured it out yet. So up until this point, I have not discovered an infinite combo with Hitman yet. but the rest of the roster has an infinite combo of some sort. I don't know how to pull it off myself, but it's been done on me in rank. It's been done on me.
Mm.
So, and this is just private late night fights because a lot of my fights take place late at night at like 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock. That's when all of the goons and goblins come out. You know,
Yeah.
the best of the best of the best of the best play DNF Duel at 11 o'clock at night. Like, I want to call these people scrubs, but the people who are not as good as the gods play during the day, and the best of the ultimate best play at night. And I think it's just a time zone thing because that's nighttime here, but it's daytime across over there in Korea and the continent. The only server that's working is the arid continent, which is over there in Korea, and like the in Romania and stuff over in there, like lower Europe. So the time zone of 11 p.m. here is like 3 p.m. or something like over there. So them guys, whatever their days look like, are online during that period of time. And during the daytime here, most of the time, like in the early time in the United States, you playing most American. You playing the Americans during the day, and you playing like the Japanese and the Korean guys at nighttime.
All right, word,
On
word.
the
It kind of makes sense. Like I remember
yeah
way back when I was playing like Halo 2
yeah
online, I would be playing super early in the morning because I worked overnight. So when I played, I
mm-hmm.
was playing a lot of people in the UK because it's early morning for me, but they're like 5 hours, 6 hours ahead. So, it's in the middle of the day for them.
Right. Right. So
So,
I've been in this jungle, man, for 6 months. I have been tried and true. I have shout out to Milo Mads, by the way. I'm not sure he'll see this video. Milo Mads is the number one deity in DNF Duel. We actually inbox a lot. Mutual respect. He always cheering me on in the inbox. So I call him Sensei because believe it or not, I'm gonna put this public. He's actually the person that taught me how to play DNF Duel. He just doesn't know it yet. Like he doesn't know it from that perspective. Like he didn't take me to practice mode and teach me stuff. Like I just would run into him online a lot. I would take a lot of L's. And this was before he was even the number one. He was just Ghostblade climbing the ranks like everybody else. There was a bunch of number ones back in the early times of DNF Duel, but that's because those guys had been playing on the beta, right? So
mhm.
not to discredit any of those number ones, but the first 2 months of the game, the guys who rose to the top first were the guys who were on the beta, the closed beta,
Ah,
right? The Japanese guys who were on the closed beta. We got open beta, but there was a closed beta for this game. And those guys who played the closed beta who were represented in Japan were the ones at the top. So once the game circulated enough and sat around for 6 months, the rest of us that stayed with it, like Milo Mads, for example, are the true number ones of the game because we stuck with it and we actually have surpassed those guys. And those guys are like, they're not even single digit deity, right? Those guys are like deity 50 and stuff. Like we have really pushed those guys down to the bottom they're not bottom, but like they're not as high up as they were. They're like
mm.
in the 40s and the 50s, the guys who were originally the ones.
And
So
actually, speaking
shout out to my
of, I should probably step back in and see since we got some new characters coming. But
well, you
yeah,
got the
like
PC version, so I don't know what it looks like on PC. I know the PSN. The guy I'm talking about is on PSN. His name
yeah,
is Milo Mad. And I call him Sensei because um, the way he was fighting me early on was doing things that I didn't know the game could do. I thought I had the game figured out, not necessarily Hitman figured out, but just the game's mechanics and things that I can and can't do. So taking all those L's to him, even before he was the number one deity, he wasn't even deity yet. He was like legend. He hadn't even reached deity rank yet. His name was Milo Mad, and he was just playing the
mm.
game like everybody else, using Ghostblade. So, but fighting him, even though he was low in rank at the time, he would just destroy me. I was like, why this dude? What am I not doing? Like, why can't I hit this dude? So over time, fighting him and fighting him and fighting him and fighting him so much, I started to understand, oh, that's what he's doing. Oh, this is what he's doing. Oh, that's what he's doing. So I got better and better. And I would start to run into him again and see that he's now 85, 87, 83, 82. Now he's the number one dated. And I recorded all of our fights when not all of them, a lot of the fights that, the good fights that we had, I would clip them, win or lose, and I would post them on YouTube and on Twitter. He was the number three deity at the time, and he was number two. Then he got to be number one, and I would post our fights with me and this guy fighting. And I say he taught me how to play this game because I didn't watch no tutorial videos. I didn't go to nobody tutorial, or I didn't even read the manuals, or I practiced with Hitman. I played with the whole roster, just
Mm-hmm.
mashing buttons, but I didn't really understand the game's mechanics. I understood how to do the combos. I understood how to execute stuff, but I didn't understand how to play DNF Duel, right? That makes sense. And Milo Mad single-handedly taught me how to play this game. Just, he wasn't probably trying to. I think he was just fighting, right? But he was one of the only people on the game that I had that I focused in on. Like, I would lose to people, but I wouldn't really pay attention to the loss. I would just like, all right, first screen, go to my next fight. I didn't care. But this guy, this Milo Mads guy, right? The name is, he was playing Ghostblade. I just, when I would fight him, I would sit up and I would pay attention for some reason. I don't know why. And then over time, I would inbox him, and it was always positive. I was never on no toxic stuff or no. Every time I
Yeah.
would move up to a different tier, I take a picture of it and I let him see. And like he's been cheering me on up to this point, but I haven't told him yet that I'm first place now. He doesn't know yet. So when his video come out, I'm gonna send him a clip. But I'm gonna put some more wins on top of it first. That way, when he see that I'm one, because he gonna jump on there and he gonna be like, oh, you passed me? Because this we talking about Milo Mads. We talking about the number one guy in this game. If he see that I'm 3,200, because I know a little bit about him. He's a married guy, he got kids. He got a family, he got a job. He's a normal person like anybody else. But when he does turn this game back on and he see that I done took his place at number one, he's gonna inbox me for one. If I don't inbox him first, he's gonna inbox me and say, oh, you took my spot. Oh, okay. But it's gonna be real respectful. So I'm not gonna say nothing. I have been inboxing him and showing him my progress up until this point. I have not told him yet that I took the number one spot and win. He has no idea because if you go look at his numbers, those numbers have been like that for the last 2 weeks. He has not played the game in like 2 weeks. He's just busy. But I've been
Getting that
talking to
getting
him in
that
the inbox.
holiday on.
Yeah, I've been talking to him in the inbox. He hasn't played DNF Duel, but he's been inboxing me. So we talking, but he's just not on the game. And I have not said a word to him. I have not told him nothing. I just quietly playing the game. Just add the wins. And then now I want to get at least 100 more wins on top of it. And then hey Milo, I'm number one, right? I'm gonna send him a screenshot and he gonna see him like, I gotta get off because he gonna jump on the game and he gonna try to take it back from me. I already know. But I don't
Man,
care if
that's
he does.
crazy.
If Milo takes it back from me, I'm cool with that because it's Milo, right? It's Milo. Like he can have it back, right? We talking. He's the number one guy in the game. He's supposed to have the most wins, but right now I got the most wins.